Hejka! Witam Was w kolejnym odcinku na moim kanale. Dzisiaj powiadam Wam o nauce, uczelniach. And in this video, we are talking advices for high schoolers and middle schoolers and probably even university. So to better understand how to learn, you need to read a lot of literature that are beyond your course books, like literature that are on that subject but is that a level higher than just school literature, and you kind of like read that literature and you get in the relationships, these links between what you studied in the classroom, like in your textbook, and what is written in there, like, and that really helps, I think, like in my opinion. Like when I've been doing that, it certainly gave me a lot of different like insights and like revolutionary approaches, and I think this is like the good way to start, to just like continue with those higher books that are higher level than your current level at school. And I don't think that approach that everything comes in own time, like for learning, that this approach is right. I think you should like read ahead, because science is science. Like when you get the glimpse of what is higher science is like, you really get passionate about studying and stuff like that. And that really helped me throughout my journey. Like, and I was especially passionate about languages, and I would like, I don't know about you, but I was like really passionate about switching the channel like on the TV and watching like in ours language like TV channels, even though I didn't understand it there quite yet, but I had this really good attitude toward listening something that is so unfamiliar, and in that way it was mysterious to me, and that really helped me in my language classes. Yeah, I got the copybook like with a lot of good ideas. Like, yeah, and you should really have this science attitude and like writing down different expressions like really helps. Like I've been sitting another day and I just took my like dictionary like with foreign words, and I sort of begin to write down them in another copybook like with like it had three colors like black, red and green, and that really kind of facilitates, and I would go on and on for pages, and that really was kind of like really good like vibe for me. And I was really confusing in English like words like this Saturday and Sunday, and I really like kind of switched to Danish lørdag sondag, like yeah, like the first week, that one that like in some cultures it ends week, Sunday ends week, and in some cultures it starts begins the week. Yeah, and I've been writing down those two words like for many lines to kind of get really like strong attitude towards which one where to use. And yeah, it's really like kind of been pretty journey for me. And I also really like writing different science fiction like in those. So yeah, that's what really helps. Like read ahead and you kind of write down, really memorize. And even I remember in high school for my physics classes I had like to memorize a lot of formulas, and I had copybook really similar to this one, and I've been writing it down over and over and over again. And later on in the lesson I really succeeded. I really get high grades, probably one of the highest grades that was out there. So yeah, that really helps. And yeah, regarding languages, that's really kind of depends upon the language you are learning, but for me it was like I still have those dictionaries, those handwritten dictionaries that are, I have like 3 of those, and I had since like was like in first grade, and I was continuing them, and then from time to time I read the entire dictionary. I was just browsing and browsing when I was waiting or doing something, and that really helped me kind of get ahead, like for real. And so yeah, this is kind of like, you know, to get you started. And like even with like this book like about computing, like I remember a decade ago when we just bought it, and it was so new, I didn't understand a thing about it. And now looking back, like the decade ahead, I really read this book and I found that I know pretty much the majority of topics, and the topics that I don't know, it's still really way more interesting now to me for to read it than it was like the decade ago when I had like zero background in this field. And it's my point is that the more background, the more connections to the field, the area you study and you have, the better, the more interesting for you will be to study it. And that's certainly a thing that I really like discovered not so long ago, and I really wanted to share that thing. And yeah, I also have like this kind of another tip. It's like you see your notes, like your scientist getting the database of their knowledge written down, like when you read. And it didn't really was on papers like this, but I had even like years before that. I had this kind of, it's there somewhere, this copybook, this really old copybook. There's only a few pages left there, but I really was writing down stuff, and that's when I was actually learning English back there. I wasn't a native speaker, and I've been writing down even how to learn it, like this book from beginning of 20th century, and there was real tips for that, and I've been for learning languages, and I really wrote down them, and it was such a passion for me. I remember about that time quite a few good things, and that really helped, like reading those like topics, how to study it. It really gave me like the light, like in the tunnel. But of course, like with the internet, it's kind of more difficult to get that kind of effect, since because back there when I was writing that on that piece of paper, I only had like internet for like an hour in the evening or something, and it was like 10 kilobytes per second, the speed of the internet or something like that. And it was really slow, like it was more beneficial, kind of more satisfying to watch TV, and I did a lot of it. And I really dedicated a lot of time throughout my middle and high school to learning history, to learning those textbooks, because that was basically the pretty much one, maybe one of few, like the valid sources of information that was actually interesting, that had somewhat appeal in them. And yeah, so that is what this was the story, like how to learn these tips. So you get in the background, and yeah, the thing about it, I heard in recent some video in something in the webinar that you should like limit the areas of your interest, like focus on topics and kind of develop yourself in them, like not starting too many, not spreading attention throughout too many of them, but kind of like focus on a few and just develop your skills in them. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. Stay safe, stay tuned, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Ciao!